Hey everyone, what's up? Currently here in the Philippines, we are still in quarantine, so we haven't been able to do any shoots at all ever since March. All my film shoots have been canceled or postponed. Hannah and I have just been here at the house, try to figure out ideas for what can we film or what can we do as a business. And we've made 2 Daniel Schiffer style type videos in the past couple of weeks, and it was really fun to do. So in this video, I'll just kind of go over how we shot it and how I edited it together. So hopefully this can give you some creative ideas or creative tips for you to film something really interesting at home. First off, I'll link the video that Daniel Schiffer made. He kind of gave a tutorial on like how to plan these type of shoots, and that's kind of what we did. We started out by just like planning what items we had and like wrote it down, and then ideas of like sequences and shots, transitions. So I'll just kind of go through it shot by shot and kind of explain how we did it. This first shot of the strawberries rotating, we had like this sort of kitchen thing. It's like a rotating thing, so that's what we did. We just put a wooden plate on that and then the bowl on top, and then spun it so that it would, do that product spinny shot thing. And then from there, we plan to have the strawberries just pop out into the air. And the way we did that was, first we got like a huge basin so that the strawberries wouldn't just fall over on the floor. And then Hannah would throw the strawberries up with the bowl. We kind of had to do a lot of takes of this. Finally, I decided to do it handheld and kind of like jumped up with the strawberries at the same time so that the camera kind of followed it as it went up and went down. This whole thing I was shooting on my A7S II on 120 frames per second, and I was really making use of the crop actually. A lot of people complain about the crop in 120, but I actually kind of like it. It's useful for me sometimes to just like have that extra crop when I'm filming in 120, especially for these type of product shots. You can get a lot closer close-ups. Then we just got a shot of the strawberries falling in the blender, and that really went well together with the strawberries falling because it just makes for a good transition because the strawberries are going down in both shots. So right after we filmed the strawberries falling in the blender, we whipped straight up, and then the next shot that we did, we started by whipping up as well so that it would transition perfectly into that next shot. We did a lot of trials with this too. Just a lot of takes. I think these type of videos, you have to realize it's gonna take a long time to film because you have to do a lot of takes. I was also making sure to check it on my computer to make sure it edited well together before we went on to the next shot. This was a shot that Hannah thought of for the transition to right after the ice falls in. Then it gets blocked by the stainless steel container. And from there, we'll transition from that stainless steel as she's pouring the milk. Isn't that genius? What a genius shot idea. So that was an awesome transition right there. Boom, pours the milk in. And then we just do a little film burn to transition to the blending part as it zooms in. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward if you just watch it. You kind of know how to film it. I'll just kind of go over the layers that I have here in Final Cut. This adjustment layer was just to add a little highlights, I think, to make the whole thing a little bit brighter. Hannah's been selling veggies fresh from the mountains here in the Philippines. So that's what we've been pretty busy with. And so we're making these creative little videos to try to promote her products, which is really fun. With this first clip, I'll just show you there's a speed ramp, starts at 14% and then speeds up so that it goes into this shot. One thing I really like about Final Cut is it's really easy to do speed ramping. I know with Adobe, it's a little bit more complicated to do speed ramping, so I was really lazy to do it when I was using Adobe, but it's really nice in Final Cut to be able to do that. Speeds up, slows down. Almost every shot. Oh, this one's at 100%. So I guess this one I didn't do any speed with. This one I didn't either because I just cut to the whip pan. This one has speed ramping in the beginning, goes to 20%, speeds up again. This one, we start at 100%, we speed up, and then slow down to the milk. So there's definitely a lot of speed ramping here. We got 20% to start, and then it goes into normal speed here. This one I think is at normal the whole time, yeah. And then this, we got slow-mo. I'll play it once, just the sound effects without music. And then here it is with music. Let's move on to the veggie set video. So for the second video we made, we did a video with the veggie set that Henna sells, and you know, we want to make it look really interesting. And because this is a pretty generic like food that you eat here in the Philippines called chop suey, and it's just mixed vegetables, so we want to make it look kind of interesting. I actually made a storyboard for like the first time in my life. So this too took a lot of experimenting, and even though we had it planned out, we had to do some shots over and over to get it right. These type of like Daniel Schiffer style videos, you just have to do a lot of experimenting, playing with transitions, playing with camera movements, and cutting it together. This is a little bit on how we filmed it. I just did this all handheld except for the last shot. The first shot was just, you know, slowly pushing in and then following Henna as she threw the carrot up in the air. And this was also all in 120p, so 120 frames per second, so we had room to slow it down. That transitions right into chopping the carrot, which works really nicely, because what we did was we used the same camera motion and then just cut them together to make it look like they're seamless. And then from there, I kind of wanted to do a really quick sequence of chopping the veggies, so you see the variety of different veggies as Henna chops these. That's pretty straightforward. You just kind of got different shots and then transitioning into lighting the. Yeah, I think these shots are all pretty straightforward. It's just thinking of the transitions between them and how to make it like one seamless story. This last part, a lot of it came together in the edit, so I'll talk about that. So again, I used a lot of speed ramping in this. You know, it starts at 10%, then increases, slows down again, boom, and then starts chopping. And these little things, I'll include these downloads in the description actually, so that you have access to this. It might help in your Final Cut Pro editing. Motion blur. So, you know, when you're shooting at 120p, there's not a lot of motion blur. So I had to add some in, especially when I was doing faster speeds. So that way it looks a little more natural. So this is with the motion blur, and then if I toggle it off, see how, you know, this adds that motion blur effect to it, just to make it look a little more smooth. What I ended up doing was making a rough cut of this without the music. I actually even made the rhythm of the chopping of the vegetables, like it's a rhythm that kind of speeds up. So even without the music, you could kind of feel that there's a rhythm there already. And then I looked for the music after that and was able to line it up pretty well actually. Other editing stuff, like here, I just do some motion blur again to make it look just a little more seamless of a transition. This shot was fun. All the vegetables like flew everywhere. Ooh, boom. This was a transition we thought of on the spot. Henna thought of it, actually. Again, the expert transition finder, Henna. So you put the cover on there and then had the cover move away from this last shot. So then this last shot I shot using my tripod, just leaning the tripod forward and then pulling back, the ancient technique of the tripod. I'll play it once with just the sound effects, no music. And then here's the final thing with the music. I hope that was helpful, at least a little bit. Maybe it gave you some creative ideas. Maybe you have some questions about the editing or how to shoot it. Let me know. I'll try to include downloads of the motion blurs and adjustment layers for Final Cut. Do you enjoy the Daniel Schiffer type style videos, or is it kind of overdone at this point? I'm not sure, but it's really fun. It was really fun for Hannah and I to shoot and edit, and I think the videos turned out pretty well. It's really fun. They're really fun short videos to make. I almost forgot, another company sent me a phone gimbal. Let me know if you have any questions about phone gimbals that I can try to test in that video. So leave those in the comments. All right, thanks for watching. That's gonna be it for this video. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.